everybody, it's Evie, and I just want to talk about DID and mental illness. DID, as you saw from my previous video, is a personality disorder that is so rare that it is dealt with less than 20,000 cases per year. Only probably about 0.1 to 1% of the general population will have DID. So it's very hard, for me to find people to talk to understand. And I just wanted to talk about, my system, my alters, or Evelise's system, her alters, because she is the host and I am the co-host. I'm not the original host, but we'll talk about that in another video. So, DID. DID is a mental disorder that happens when someone experiences multiple acts of trauma or abuse, or just one severe moment of trauma. It's what happens when your brain breaks off into different segments to act as a coping mechanism for said person to be protected. Now, each of us have a role. Each of us are a trauma holder that has a certain role to contribute to our system. And each of us don't get set off or have the same reactions to said trauma that the other was experienced or exposed to. Sorry, word stutter. So, story time. When Evelise was younger, she was constantly bullied. Bullying, it happens. People don't do it. Don't stand by and watch it, or don't make yourself into a bully. It is not fun for the victim, or it's not fun to put yourself in that kind of light. Don't do it. So we were bullied for our weight. We were bullied for, the fact that Evelise had said severe depression and anxiety that it was something that she did a lot, that we did a lot. In fact, Evelise and Emily struggle with self-harm, whereas I and everyone else don't. Each of us do things differently. For example, if I'm depressed, I prefer, to just listen to music. I don't resort to harming myself. And due to the fact of Evelise being bullied and Evelise having a very rough relationship with her family at home, that's where me and Emily came in. I will put up pictures to show the difference of us, and hopefully, later on, I will introduce all of us to you, if that's something that people want to see. Now, quick note, that doesn't mean that, I'm doing that to gain fame or whatever. I'm doing it for research purposes only, to document the switches, to document each of us. It's respectively and only for the sake of video journaling and documenting my dissociative identity disorder with my therapist. Period. Now, me and Emily, we were the first, and over time, that's when others started to come in, but me and Emily were the first. In fact, fun fact, my name isn't actually Evie. I was made and I originated with the name Alexia, but because at the age of 15, Evelise went dormant, and I took over, thus adopting the name Evie. And I was the one that endured high school. I was the one that built relationships and I was the one that met people, built connections. I was the one that graduated. I was the one that had complete and utter control over the system in our body for the past 5 years. And within those 5 years, along the way, we had Elijah, Rosalie, Lily, and others, friends, that, more of us started to pop up, because within those 5 years, I had made mistakes. I have done things that, we're only human. So, alters and mental illnesses. I struggle with depression. I struggle with anxiety. Evelise struggles with PTSD. And for those that don't know, I will put up pictures now. That will state, what these mental illnesses are and what they do to a person's brain. Emily is our protector. Emily struggles with PTSD and anger issues, and Emily's very rough, very harsh, but having DID, even though it is a disability, it can be used as an ability to be seen through different perspectives of life, and that's something that I am extremely grateful for. In fact, in high school, I wrote my senior project and paper based on my mental illness, and if I can find it, I will make a video on it, reacting to it now, about 4 years later, and we'll go over it if I can find it. It's probably somewhere, but I passed with it. I'm truly humbled and grateful that, that essay helped me a lot. Helped me cope and understand, helped me find the help that I needed at the time. But DID, even though it can have wonderful gifts and blessings to it, it can also be very dangerous. Alters can go through, you can have someone as young as 7 years old called a little, and we have a little, like I said, her name is Kira, she's 7. Or we can have dangerous alters, which I have 2. I have 0 and L. Within the 5 years, until recently, about 3 months ago, I was the main host. I am not anymore. Evelise came back and she took over, and now I am a co-host that comes out part-time. This is something that, this is something that really gets tiring. It's actually physically tiring to deal with the system and constantly walk on eggshells to avoid triggers, negative triggers that would trigger a 0 or L. But let's talk about the good stuff. So, in the midst of all of this, we did graduate high school. Throughout all the bullying, we did manage to rise above it. And now in the meantime, We graduated through trade school. We became an advocate for mental illness around our peers. We started up fostering animals and just having outlets, and we've gotten into art, music, anything to make your day better, anything to make you feel okay. That's where you need to be for anybody, not just people with DID, not just people like me, everybody. And this video, it's been jumped all around, but the moral of it is that if you have a mental illness, if you have DID, just like me, you can make it through. You can survive. With the help of my therapist, with the help of my family, with the help of my friends, we've managed to grow. And that's all anyone could ever ask for, right? So I guess this was a peek inside my brain and a little bit behind the curtain. Not very detailed, kind of scattered, but I kind of feel better now. Thanks for listening. Have a nice night. Bye.